Three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Short Explanations, episode 1, our first episode. My name is Chaim, and Tom is right there. And I can't see the overlay, but Tom says that my name is underneath, and Tom's name is underneath
Above.
him.
Above.
Above. Oh,
It's
above.
above now. Yeah,
Okay.
it was below. Now it's above.
Okay. So if you don't know who we are two security people. I play a security podcaster. Tom is saying something. Tom is an actual security person. And our job, what we want to do is we want to bring security topics, news, highlights, things to the average person. The goal is, can we get you to understand security and help you better with your security, your cybersecurity? Is that right, Tom?
Kind of. So my job title isn't officially security person. Technically, right now, I am a site reliability engineer. But everything I build and everything I work on does have security in some aspect, and I'm trying to keep things from getting hacked or falling apart. And as we all know, one of the pillars of security is availability, and currently that's where I'm working.
So, if you don't know who we used to run a different podcast called Security at the In30 Network, and lots of things happened. Tom moved across the country, and things got busy, and everything else. And we're going to get into that. This is just our very first episode to ease you into what we're going to do and how we're going to do it and what happened, and it's going to be a light and fun episode. So, you want to tell us how you moved across the country?
Yeah. So I did have a job that basically required me to live in Seattle or very close to Seattle. And I don't know if you know anything about the world in the past 2 to 3 years, but a lot of things have changed, and stuff got weird for a minute. So I, for the record, absolutely love Seattle. I love the area. The people were great. It was a fantastic place to live and work. Unfortunately, all the things I loved about Seattle became a liability after COVID. It was way too dense. There were too many people. I'm, technically one of those sick kids with a terminal lung disease, so like COVID probably isn't good for my health. So we kind of just wanted to get away. So we moved almost back home. Not close enough to be like actually home, but almost. It's basically the same thing. Within a 10-hour drive is home for the Midwest in the US. And changed jobs, changed locations, bought a house. Like there's a whole lot of changes in my life personally, which means that we just couldn't record. I was either on the road or in hotels or buying a house or setting up a house or getting the internet fixed or repairing the green screen. I mean, there's like 1.5 million reasons I can give you about why everything is so late and has taken this long to get rolling again. But that's in the past. We're here now.
I mean, I was gonna say we do a free podcast. It's there is no budget. Like it wasn't people were paying us. We don't have sponsors. We don't have anything like that.
There's no Patreon. But if you would like a refund on whatever the amount is that you paid for Security in 30, please join our Signal group, and I will be happy to issue that refund to you personally.
In mobile
That's a
coin.
promise. Oh
In
no,
mobile coin.
no, it'll be emoji.
Emoji. Okay.
Yeah, just straight up emoji returns.
If you don't know who I am, my name is Chaim Cohen. I'm a school teacher in Central New Jersey. For those who don't know, Central New Jersey is the middle part of New Jersey. Some people don't believe that it exists, but it does. And we are loud and we are proud that Central Jersey exists. I live in Central Jersey. I work in Central Jersey. And the good news about Tom coming closer to the East Coast is it made recording a lot easier. So I'm very proud of that. So what happened? I mean, we teased this at the very end. So I started a podcast network called In30 with two of my friends in 2011. I remember that because I was just about to start my current job in 2011. And we did a tech podcast for a very long time. At that point, I met Tom. We met at Google I/O, I think in 2012,
Yep.
and I said, "Hey," with our Google Glass, and I said, "Hey, I really like security, but I don't know much about it." And we started a podcast. I don't know, 2014, 2015. I don't even know. We
Yeah.
we can go back and check, but the point is, we kept on doing it. Now, what happened was, um, person who made the website kept it not locked down, but made it very hard for me to little change different things. So we wanted to split the RSS feeds. And at some point, we lost control of the email, and then we lost control of the domain. And we were just running on like, this is going to break. This was duct taped together, going down the highway at 70 miles an hour. And we just like, it was going to break at some point. And everything we tried just didn't work. So when Tom said, "Hey, I'm moving. It's going to be a couple months," I said, "You know what? Let's burn it to the ground and let's just start over, where we have full control of literally everything. Everything the two of us we have full control over." So another part of the delay is building the website, getting a logo, they're doing the overlay. Just these little things, setting up iTunes again, setting up Pocket Cast, setting up Spotify, setting up Google, setting up all the different podcast things. But you can't do one until the other is done, and it's a whole big mess. So we said, you know what, we did a lot of great things on In30. I spoke to Steve Wozniak. We had the Yubico people on. We did a lot, and to lose those people it's going to happen. So we're asking you, if you see the people from In30, remind them to resubscribe to Short Explanations, and hopefully we can build back that audience, because we get a decent audience at the very end.
Yeah, it's been just a lot of little stuff, just one thing after another. Like I thought we were ready to go. I finished the overlay this morning. We're about to go, and then I realized, oh no, I screwed up the transparency on a couple of these layers, and our webcams won't have the camera background because we use green screens because we are professionals. And then I had to quickly go into GIMP and change everything because I don't pay for Photoshop. A, because I actually kind of like GIMP, and B, it's because I'm a cheapskate. So we have just been dealing with like one tiny roadblock after another, and the last thing on our list is getting this website stood up. Uh, but the good news is, at the end of all this, we will control everything front to back. So everything from the domain to where the files are hosted on our own cloud storage provider to the website itself, which is being built by me as a static Hugo site that we're then going to host somewhere. I have a couple ideas there. But we won't be beholden to any kind of company. We won't be beholden to stuff going down, or getting bought out. We've been through what, like 4 or 5 different online meeting platforms, and I think I'm gonna regret saying this. I think Discord is going to be stable enough for us to use for a while, which is good. Um, but yeah, doing this on Twitch has been kind of nice. Not as easy as Google Hangouts by any means, or Hangouts on Air. But also, I don't see Twitch really kicking the bucket anytime soon. So we should be stable for a little while after we get this thing rolling. And most importantly, we own the domain, and we own the email account. So
Well, so the problem with the domain is, my friend who started it bought the domain, and when we finally said, let's can we take the domain? Can I buy it from you? Let's see, $15 times 10 years, whatever it is. Can I give you $150? Can I give you 250? He basically said, no, I don't want to sell it. Instead of arguing, he did host us all the bandwidth and everything for the 10 years. It's really sad. Look, I'm not, it made me sad. Like, but it's not something to go to war over, because like we said, we didn't make any money. If we had if we had huge numbers and we were making ad sales and everything else, it would be a different story. But we weren't. We're free, and we just bring this to you as a hobby. So instead of fighting this battle that would have been long and drawn out and everything else, it's let's just start over, which we did. So again, email address we now control. The two of us have access to it, so one person can't like disappear.
Mhm.
The domain we both control. We have that. We're following all the proper security protocols, so it's not going to go away.
Who
We're
uploads
set
everything?
things like I paid for a logo for security in 30, and it wasn't the square logo that Apple wanted. And
Mhm.
that, but I couldn't change it because I couldn't access the iTunes podcast directory. Like little things like that throughout the entire process was okay. Nobody seems to care, so we'll do it. I think we couldn't change the description in Apple Podcasts to say this is a security podcast with Tom. It was still the old one. So now
Mhm.
I can change that and I put that on. So things should be able to move quickly and change and do other things. And then and uploading. I used to have FTP access, which is not secure, but I had some access. I couldn't, or I had SFTP access, and then I lost it, and now I'm using WordPress to upload, which is a little scary. I mean, it's why can't I have this? And we couldn't figure it out. So all these little death by 1,000 cuts were happening, and finally, let's just start over, and that's where we are.
And not to say that, let me add the disclaimer afterwards.
Mhm.
I do realize the irony of a security podcast being hosted through a WordPress run website. Here's the disclaimer. Not to say that every WordPress site is inherently insecure or anything like that, but when stuff gets popped, it's usually because of a WordPress install that was left unpatched. I get it. Trust me, I understand the joke there. It's hilarious. Um, this time, it's a static site. It's going to just be flat files, served through a web server of some kind, or probably a container. Maybe just one of the like app hosting things. Either like AWS has got one, DigitalOcean has got apps. There's Heroku. I probably wouldn't host on Heroku today, but you get the idea. So better news there. It'll be a little snappier. We're actually going to have our episodes hosted on a CDN. So no matter where you are, hopefully, downloads will be fast. If they're not, let me know. We control all the infrastructure, so there's a lot of things we can do to tweak stuff or make it better or optimize for our audience's needs. So if you do have feedback like that or any other kind, join the Signal group, which is still around.
And it's actually a really good group. Now to get there,
Mhm.
you have to find us. Where are you going to find us? Well, we will have the website hopefully up by the time you're listening to this. I mean, we need to. You won't be listening to this if not. Which is at shortexplanations.com. Again, we got a .com this time around. Um, the Twitter handle, I don't know what's going on with Twitter. Uh, I am speculating that nothing will happen to Twitter. There will be zero loss of anybody on Twitter, but that's not this show. Is short explan short short explan explan. Twitter apparently has a character limit for the username,
But maybe if
but
we pay
again,
enough, we can get around that.
yeah, maybe if we pay $10 a month, I don't know. So Um, so we're there. You can find me. I'm at Heimtime, CHIMTIME. Tom is not on Twitter, or was it, or is not.
I have the name. I haven't used it in a very, very, very long time.
That's probably a good thing at the end of the day. So you can find us. We have a YouTube page. We have a Twitch. I don't know if we have a Twitch page yet, but we don't. The problem is no one watched us on Twitch anyway.
Yeah.
So
No
it's
one watches
it's
the
one of
security live stream, so it just goes on my personal Twitch account that I literally only broadcast this on.
So it's one of those things. And then we asked our Signal group, what do you want to hear? And overwhelmingly people want to hear interviews. We are not interview people, but we're listening. Again, we control everything. So people want to hear interviews, we'll give you interviews. Um it's I have a few in my mind. We always wanted to, we kept on, we left off. Our last episode was what to put in your digital portfolio. So I have ideas of bringing people in who started the InfoSec journey. I have my favorite people to talk to and are librarians because they know everything about everything. And one of the things they're really knowledgeable on is privacy. So
Hmm.
we have that coming up. One of the people in the Signal group is a master at credit card terminal payments. So, so he's always said, let's talk about that. That's always good. We normally just talk about the news of the week. If something comes up, we like to go more in depth. Oh, we have somebody with for VPNs.
Hmm.
So we have interviews there. We're not trying to bring you every random person, but the idea of having that. And then the other idea, if we wanted to spin off a show, Tom all of a sudden wants to do his security gaming podcast. So not
Where
just
we talk
playing.
about the best in computer gaming security.
Um, we we have the infrastructure to control that, because if you remember on the old show, I would put like those one-off shows that I used to do every now and then. We couldn't separate it out. There was
Hmm.
no way to change the RSS feed. Our RSS feed before was hosted by FeedBurner, which if you know anything about Google stuff, we don't know if it's going to be there tomorrow. It should have been hosted at the In30 website and then let FeedBurner do that. That caused a lot of problems. There's two different icons. Like we couldn't get in. It was just a big mess. So now
Yeah.
we fully control everything. We want to hear ideas. We want to hear what you want to hear about. We want to hear about all of this. And I think that moving forward, it's we took some time off, but moving forward, we know how to do this. We know how to run podcasts. We're here now. We can do it. Hopefully, it'll be easier for everyone involved, and we can change things when they need to happen.
Mhm. Yeah, one of the things that I really wanted to do, and I'm taking my time to get right, it's a lot of this infrastructure stuff. And the probably the first thing you're going to notice about the website is that it's probably not going to be super pretty. It's not going to be real fancy. The website is literally there as a vehicle to deliver the RSS feeds, and that's going to be our main focus.
Mhm.
You're still going to be able to browse around and click and download episodes and get links directly to MP3s and stuff like that. The basics will be there. Just don't expect, a Web 9.0 with gradients and reflections everywhere and integration with Web 3, and you can do micropayments by licking the screen. Like, no, it's just going to be a boring HTML web page that's got links to MP3s on it, and then an RSS feed if that's your jam, because it's definitely mine.
Well, I was going to say the website is just a mechanism for delivering content. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
there
it.
was nothing there. We just need a presence on the internet. We need to. I mean, we could have just hosted it on Apple or Spotify, but that limits the people who can listen to
Mhm.
it. Like Apple allows us to host with them and do subscriptions, which is another idea that we were having, not for the main show, but like other things. But again, you're limited to Apple, and we don't want that. I mean, we like open source. We want to build that out, so we want to make it as available. Look, we put the YouTube video on for those who want to listen at work, and YouTube is not blocked. I mean, things like
Mhm.
that. So you can just put it on. We're not trying to make it look pretty, but we're trying to do a slightly better than terrible job. So slightly better than terrible, yeah. So no, so it's we said that YouTube doesn't really bring us any mojo, but for the two people who listen to it on YouTube, it's easy enough to do, so we can push it out there. So it's just try to aggregate to as many different places as possible, and if a new one comes up, I want to be able to quickly send the RSS feed there and not have to, and have one pointer being the website. So
Mhm.
the website's just going to be plain, but it's going to, and hopefully I'll start tagging. We can start tagging episodes, news, how to's, different things like that. So if you want to find it, and then I was going to say, well, where are we going to start? And I think the answer is basically at the beginning. I think it's time to start completely over, because all the stuff we spoke about 5, 6 years ago have radically changed. And yes, we've spoken about it over the years, but we talk about VPNs. They've changed.
Mhm.
Passwords have changed. Backing up has it has changed. All that stuff has changed. And I think
Two-factor
we might
authentication
as
has changed a
yeah.
lot.
And so to just start over is is hopefully gonna bring a bunch of people in to make it better for us. And if you've heard it, then you'll hear it again. It'll be okay. You'll like hearing it again. That's why you're listening to us. So
Theoretically, we've gotten a little bit better than when we first started out. So hopefully, a few less bumps in the road and better scripting. Maybe I don't know if I want to put that on us, but we can dream.
we can dream. We can have we can have a document. We could write scripts. We could write intros. And we'll just forget it the night before,
Yeah,
and the
it'll be
dog
great.
ate it, and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't have much more to say about that other than we're finally in the same, we're basically in the same, I think you're 1 hour over, which makes things a lot easier. We have your setup. We have an it's not automated, but it's almost automated.
Mhm.
And hopefully we can go from there. I think it'll be a lot better than what it was. We have a lot now that we're starting over, we have a lot more content to talk about, so it won't be all news all the time, and we can talk about those other things. And if there's anything else, like you said, in the Signal group, we want to bring those people in and say, hey, you have a topic, let's talk about it. I will tweet more from the Short Explanations Twitter account. I feel like links that are posted or whatever else should be tweeted out from there so you can see. Again, that's homework on me, but that's what they call it, I guess, an action item.
Mhm.
That is an action item on me.
We're gonna circle back and cover these action items in a follow-up async.
Is this a Jira? Is that a Jira thing? I don't do any of this.
We're
So,
gonna add some backlog tickets into our Jira Cloud instance. Make sure we have assignees and directly responsible individuals. You know, DRIs, that basic stuff.
I don't have any of that.
I'm jealous.
I assign homework.
So legitimately jealous.
I assign homework, and now I have to grade it. See, I control my own destiny. I give students work to do, and then I have to grade it. And then I have to answer why are things late and everything else. So anyway, I don't really have much more than that. We wanted just a lighthearted welcome episode to us to say, hey, we're here. We're here. We know we said September, and then now it's November.
Yeah,
things happen. We'll figure it out. Like we said.
The good news is that the core of the content hasn't changed, which is, there's a bunch of super in-depth, hardcore security podcasts out there that either talk to InfoSec professionals or kernel developers or turbo nerds. Our goal has always been to be the security podcast that regular average users can benefit from. Like if a non-technical person can take away something to make themselves a little bit safer online, we've done our job. Yeah, we might not be the most in-depth, we might not have the best knowledge or intuition about a situation, but at the end of the day, we're trying to help people. And that's kind of the angle we're always going to come from.
And like you said, it's and based on the title, we want to keep it short. The goal is not to bore you. We want to be around that 30-minute mark. I did not time this because now we don't need to time stuff, but we want to be in that short commute to work type thing where you can double speed it if you want to, and go from there. We're not going to sit you up for 2 hours with all these ad reads. Hopefully we'll have ad reads. I mean, I don't want to say never have ad reads, but if that happens, or just buy us coffees every single time, stick us on a Patreon, whatever it is. But anyway, the goal is to have free, I don't want to say weekly content, because we found out that the every other week kept our sanity in check.
Mm-hmm.
But when we have content, we will bring it to you. And like I said, we keep on pushing the Signal group because there's a good group of people in there, and that's how you reach us outside of that. And you can ask us whatever you want. I mean, security related, but go from there. I don't have anything else. I think we covered it all.
Yeah, I got nothing.
And I've had fun doing it. This reinvigorates. It was off time, and And you know what? I was happy having my Wednesday nights free again, but
Mm,
then I was like, I always wanted to do this. I always like, hey, can we start this? Can we start this? So I'm happy. Hopefully, I'm going to say this again. Hopefully, we see you next week.
yeah.
We always say that. We hope to see you next week. Hopefully, that happens. I got nothing else. You have nothing else. So
Oh,
next week it is.
all right. Well,
Okay.
see y'all.
Bye, everybody.